Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. This is Mr. Shakespeare here again on the 29th of August 2022, and I'm here with psychic medium and remote viewer Liz Cross. How are you doing today, Liz?
I'm doing very well. I'm excited for this probe.
Okay. This is Pepe Escobar, who I believe we have actually done one time before. But we're going to do him again because he's an interesting guy. Have you got a connection with him, please?
I do have a connection with him. I do.
How's he doing?
Very well. I think he likes to have a drink in the evening and maybe smoke a little bit of a pipe.
Is he? Okay.
Hmm.
I mean, he's
Tobacco.
Brazilian by birth. He's a geopolitical analyst, and he's a qualified and time-tested journalist. So he's been around a long time. He covers a lot of the Far East. He's been covering Ukraine, Russia, Asia, that type of area. So right. At the moment. No, actually, I'll tell you what we need to do. We need to push him forward, really. How far are you comfortable pushing him forward?
I don't want to go too far. It depends on the topic, but certainly we can probe him.
Okay, could we go to the end of November?
Yes, absolutely. Let's have a look here. So I'm going to shove him out. And I know with Pepe Escobar probes, we do get a lot of new listeners. So please understand that what I am doing is I am using a version of remote viewing. I am a natural psychic medium, but for these mind probes, I do use remote viewing. It's very advanced technique. Okay, so let's go November 30th, 2022, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, what would you like to know?
Has there been a major supply crisis in Europe?
Has there been a major supply crisis in Europe over the last couple of months? Yes.
Okay.
I feel like there's major problems in the Black Sea. That's what he's telling me.
Okay, what kind of problems?
War. There's a lot of fighting in the Black Sea.
Actually, in the Black Sea? You mean Navy war, that type of thing?
Yes, a lot of explosions. I feel like ships are being sunk, whether they're commercial or military. And it's chaos.
And how long's that been going on for now?
How long has that been going on for now? It feels like just maybe a couple weeks or a month.
Okay. And who's fighting who?
Who's fighting? It's still Ukraine and Russia.
Okay, but it's not NATO and Russia directly. It's indirectly. Right? They're using.
No, NATO's not there. Well, they're there, but they're not fighting. They're sort of standing by.
Okay. So is this Ukrainian ships being attacked or Russian ships mainly? I mean, because this is not happening at the moment as we speak now, at the end of August. So what triggered it off? What was the trigger point? Why did it start going into the water?
What was the trigger point? He's telling me Russia was a trigger point. I feel like one of their boats was sunk, one of their naval ships.
Ah, right. Okay. Has there been a major tightening of monetary policy in the United States?
Has there been a major tightening of monetary policy in the United States? No. Would you explain to our audience what that means?
Yeah, so when the Biden administration or the Trump administration or any administration starts saying they're going to start spending money left, right, and sideways and handing it out to everybody for any reason, That's a sort of very loose monetary policy. If they say that they're going to give everybody $1,000, subsidy or something like that, that would be a very loose monetary policy. And therefore, a tight monetary policy is the complete opposite. And you can look at this in your own household budget. If you're flush with cash, you tend to spend more on things, enjoyment, going out, doing whatever. If you haven't got that kind of money, you rein in the spending. Well, that's the plan. Obviously, governments are not necessarily, as we know from an earlier one with Liz Truss, governments are not necessarily bound by the same rules of that we are. And I was just wondering whether the US are this is now after the midterm elections, and I was wondering whether they are still, spending money all over the place on different things. At the same time, telling everybody, prepare to tighten your belts, that type of thing.
Right. No, they haven't reined in their spending.
So has there been any shortages of energy or food or fertilizer in Europe?
Has there been any shortages of energy, food, or fertilizer in Europe? Food, yes, but nothing like overall, yes, but anything like really massive where people are starving and they can't access food, only in the Ukraine.
Okay. Has China and Russia been involved in any military exercises recently?
Military exercises recently. Not that has been published, no. Other than the things that took place in September, but he does believe, his own personal thought and opinion is that there's definitely something going on between China and Russia, as in he feels that they're getting ready to attack.
Getting ready to attack who?
Getting ready to attack the West.
Okay.
They're prepared.
Has there been any Chinese troops on Russian soil?
Have there been any Chinese troops on Russian soil? Yes, there have, but always under these this blanket statement of military exercises.
Okay.
They're actually communicating very well with one another, learning each other's fighting techniques, things like that, in case they need to pair up and go to war.
What is the generally at the moment in Europe?
When will this end? They're thinking this is going to go on for years.
What is his thoughts on the current leadership of, say, the European Union?
Current leadership of the European Union. He has no faith in the European Union whatsoever.
Okay, does he know how Germany is doing?
How's Germany doing? He says it's really, really suffering economically.
Well, if Germany are doing bad, the rest of the EU must be doing appallingly. Okay.
The UK is doing very bad as well.
What about France and Spain?
They seem to be holding up better than the UK and Germany, but he says they were already poor. So a little bit more poverty, they're used to dealing with it.
Okay. What happened in the Italian elections?
A side was chosen. Do you know who was running?
Forza Italia, 5-star. No, I don't completely know.
Okay, that's okay.
I can try and find out.
That's okay. I feel like they're nationalist, nationalist party.
The Nationalist Party.
I feel like they are a nationalist party.
Okay.
They're pro-Italy, not
Right.
so much pro-Europe.
Okay. Would that be the brother of Italy, the FDI, led by Giorgia Meloni?
I'm not sure what he's telling me. I can't answer that.
Okay. Well, there's Forza Italia, there's Sloveni League, and there's Five Star Movement, and there's this Brothers of Italy party, or Brother of Italy, FDI.
And I think also we have to understand the how their elections work. So, whether they win certain regions, it's hard to answer that question. And I understand what he's telling me now. So it could be that different parties win different regions. We would really need to be able to say, how those elections are calculated.
Right. But is the overall sentiment of post-election in Italy pro-EU or not pro-EU? I mean, against, pro, in other words, pro-globalist EU or pro-sovereign Italy?
Pro-sovereign.
Right. Okay. Does he know how President Macron of France is doing?
How is President Macron? Well, he thinks he's doing a terrible job.
Yeah. Okay.
He said he's a waste of space.
True. How's Asia doing generally as a region?
How's Asia doing? Well, they're not suffering economically like we are. They're on the rebound.
Okay. Any countries at the moment out there that are that are shining a light, that are doing better than others? Singapore, Vietnam, anything? I mean, anything that's of note?
Vietnam is in recovery. I feel like the Philippines is in recovery. Taiwan, I feel like never slows down. China only slowed down a little bit. Japan is still economically sluggish. But overall, like they're doing well. Better than we are, better than Europe. Australia seems to be doing okay as well.
Okay.
Not that that's Asian, but
no. Okay. What about Korea, South Korea?
What about South Korea? They're struggling.
What about North Korea?
What about North Korea? He really doesn't like the leader of North Korea. He started swearing. Oh, goodness.
Okay. Are they benefiting in Asia generally from the decline of Europe?
Good question. Are they benefiting in Asia from the decline of Europe? No, they're not. It's not benefiting them at all in that way, because you have to understand, and I'm sure you know this, but I'm saying overall for our audience, that when the economy is good in the West, it really benefits them exponentially, right? Because people are buying and buying and buying. The buying has slowed down. However, because they make so many things that are necessary for our daily living, that's how these countries are continuing to do well.
Right.
Car parts, you know what I mean? Things like that. Kitchen appliances, cars, television, all of that stuff that we use on a daily basis, we consider it to be a necessity here in the West. That is why they are still continuing to thrive out there.
Yeah. Okay. Can we pop him out a bit further to say next summer in June?
Ooh, okay. We can do that. So let's go June 1st, 2023. 23, 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. What would you like to know?
How's the world been doing these past 6 months?
How has the world been doing the past 6 months? It's on an economic decline. So still the economy is very, very bad. It's poor. Have there been any new wars crop up? No, not at the moment. Now, as we're viewing this out on this current timeline, this is based upon the probabilities of today, which is August 29th, 2022, to what will happen in the future on June 1st, 2023. You know as well as I do, and people that have been following me for a while know that something can alter the timeline. Okay, so but right now, as I'm looking out, we've got a no on any new wars. There's been threats, but they're now in talks and they've had to simmer a lot of hot heads. I feel like there have been a lot of threats and they're trying to resolve this issue. Are the Ukraine and Russia still at war? No, I feel like at this point, again, I'm getting information that the war, there's no longer mass fighting and that the Russian Federation have basically taken over most of the Ukraine and declared it so.
Okay. Does he have any knowledge of Bitcoin?
Do you have any knowledge of Bitcoin? Yes, it's a disaster.
Why does he say that?
Why does he say it's a disaster? Because he believes it's a failed project. He's looking out, and we're looking at June 1st, and he's saying crypto is a failed project. It's not sustainable.
Is that just Bitcoin, or is he now speaking for all of cryptocurrency?
All crypto.
Did he ever have any Bitcoin?
I feel maybe at one point or another, but I don't feel he really has a lot now.
How's the stock market been doing these past 6 months?
How's the stock market been doing the past 6 months? Down, way down, low.
What about NASDAQ? How's that been doing?
How's the NASDAQ been doing? Again, that's very low as well. And the S&P is low. Everything's low.
Okay. Does he know what the US dollar index is?
Do you know what the US dollar index is? He says, what do you mean? Please clarify.
Well, the US dollar index is the dollar measured against a basket of currencies. So it's yeah.
Yes, but he doesn't follow it too closely.
So he doesn't know whether it's up or down or how's it doing or anything, no?
How is the US dollar doing as a whole? He believes that the US dollar is very strong. What about in compared to the pound? It's very strong. How's the pound doing? The pound is very weak. Now, I know that this week I was in shock that the pound was now $1.17 to the pound. I've never known the pound to be so low.
Well, against the dollar, all currencies are faltering at the moment, and that will continue, I believe.
Why do you think that is?
Well, the Federal Reserve is going to continue to raise interest rates, and that will attract capital. And the US dollar is still the global reserve currency of the world, and so America will be seen to be doing better than, well, let's ask him, how's America doing?
How is the US doing? It's trying to recover. but it hasn't reached that point yet.
Okay. How's Canada doing?
How's Canada doing? It's bad. Economically, it's very bad.
Yeah. Okay. And how's South America? I mean, we just, don't want to go through every single South American country particularly, but has South America basically escaped a lot of what's going on in Europe, or?
Well, he thinks that South America is very industrious. He really likes South America. I feel like his heart is in South America.
That's where he's from.
Oh, right. Okay. And he looks favorably upon South America. He's very biased in that way.
Okay, so he doesn't really look objectively at South America.
No. Sorry about all the rumbling in the background. That's thunder. We're having a bad thunderstorm.
That's okay. Does he still write for the Asia Times?
Do you still write for the Asia Times? Yes.
Okay. For those of you who don't know, it's a Hong Kong-based English language news and media publishing group. They cover politics, economics, business, that type of stuff, geopolitics. But all from an Asian perspective, not from a Western perspective. So, okay. Looking back over these past 8 or 9 months, is there anything that he wish he had have done?
Back over these past 8 or 9 months, is there anything that you wish you would have done? Paid closer attention to China.
Why does he say that?
His exact words, they're the devil in disguise.
Can he expand? What have they done? What's happened?
Just that they've managed to exert power and control. It's not as simple as what he's trying to say to me, and he's saying this is the oversimplification. But they rule the world, and you have to be careful of that.
So by June the 1st, 2023, it's acknowledged. Is this acknowledged generally? Is this a general acceptance, or is this just his opinion?
No, it's not general acceptance. It's his opinion. And again, because they've managed to turn themselves around economically so quickly, that just speaks volumes of how powerful China really are.
Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else you wish you'd have done?
Is there anything else you wish you would have done? He would like to be embedded more now that the fighting has pretty much stopped. He says he wish he would have been embedded more with the troops and done more war coverage. He has some regrets there, but at the time it wasn't safe to do so he didn't. But those are his regrets. He's a true journalist. He really is.
Oh yeah. No, yeah, he really is. What does he think of the phrase 70% of the population lives in a herd mentality? Does he believe that?
70% of the world lives in a herd mentality. He says it's higher than that.
Okay. Okay. Right. What else do we need to ask him? Back in August 2022, he wrote an article where he said that
Is that the article you posted on Discord?
No, not at all. No,
Oh.
no, this is not. No. He basically was quoting Dmitry Medvedev, who was one time the prime minister, I believe, or actually even was president for a while, for one term. He basically was quoting or making comment towards Medvedev, and it's to do with Ukraine and obviously Russia. And it was to do with, he said that it was quite remarkable that the Russian economy didn't really break a sweat, and it sort of ended up with a lot of abundance, because obviously it's Russia has, we know geographically, it's got the largest land mass. So has it been able to put that advantage to good use?
What, the land mass?
Yeah, because he said that there was because he said that without really trying, Russia has ended up with an abundance of everything, and the economy has hardly even broke sweat. That's what he was writing recently. So I'm just wondering, sort of 8 or 9 months out, how that's progressed. As you know, what has Russia done with this? It seems to have an advantage, as he's writing, but he hasn't used that word. Those are my words. But so have they capitalized on this quote unquote advantage?
Russia's doing okay. The sanctions that were put into place to hinder them, they've managed a workaround, right? They're rebuilding their economy. They're not suffering the way that the West is. He's saying he believes that the West now is suffering more than the Russians on a global scale. So the sanctions have actually hurt the West, and Putin half expected those sanctions anyway. Yeah. Therefore, they were fully prepared to deal with it.
Well, one of the historical things that we learn about sanctions is they end up hurting the people that put the sanctions on more than the people that receive them. I mean, I'm not saying whether you sanction an individual person, but when you sanction a country, it always ends up backfiring. So, yeah, okay. How's the Middle East doing? You know, Saudi, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Qatar.
He likes the World Cup. And the World Cup was in Qatar. Don't ask who the winner is.
I'm not going to.
I'm going to follow the World Cup. I love calling World Cup games. Were you happy with the World Cup result? No, he wasn't happy with the World Cup result. So there you go. Where did you say he was from?
Brazil, that's why.
Oh, well, there you go. He was not happy with the World Cup result. So we know who is not going to win. Was the team? Okay, now we have to find out, don't we? Was the team who won the World Cup, were they in South America? No. So it was not a South American team that won the World Cup. There you go. That's as far as I will go.
Ask him if it was America.
Oh, come on. Was it the USA that won the World Cup? No, disaster.
That's all right. I didn't think it would be, but I just wanted to get that.
Did England win the World Cup?
No.
Ooh.
Yeah?
I think England may get close. Oh no, I don't want to know this information because I call the games and I want to stay completely.
Yeah, all right. Well, I didn't ask you. You went off into.
I know, but I just love calling games. It's fun.
All right, no problem. So let's go. Let's ask him back about Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Iran. You know, how's the Middle East?
How's the Middle East? I mean, it's okay. It's okay.
Is it stable? Is it stable?
Stable. In parts, for the most part, yes. But their economy is flat as well.
Okay. But they're still pumping oil, aren't they?
Are they still pumping oil? Yes, they are mass producing oil. Yes.
Okay. Let's switch over to India and Pakistan. How are they doing?
How are India and Pakistan doing? Their economy is suffering.
Okay, why is that? Which one, India or Pakistan or both?
Yeah, Pakistan. Both are doing pretty rough. They're pretty rough. I feel like there's some elections there. There's
There
some
will be soon
elections coming
for
up.
Pakistan. Yeah, for Pakistan, I believe. I'm not sure about
Okay.
India. Okay. Right. Okay. Final question is: what does he see? What does he see on the horizon from June 1st? Now, looking forward, is there anything he sees, of note on the horizon?
Is there anything?
That he's either going to look into, or he knows about, or anything, whatever. What can he tell us?
Yeah. Is there anything of note that you see on the horizon from June? I think he's going to start focusing on the amount of power that the Chinese have over the world, and it's dangerous, right? He's saying at this point, it's very dangerous to leave our hands in the hand, leave us in the hands of the Chinese. So we're relying on them far too much. Pharmacy, big pharma, pills, medicines, the supply chain. China, this is how powerful they are.
Okay, but the West gave China everything. They offshored to try and save some money or boost up the share prices. I mean, this was done by design.
This was done. Absolutely, he completely agrees with that. But he says they will pay for it later.
Okay. When he says China, does he mean China, the People's Republic of China, or does he mean the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP? I mean, and does he differentiate between the two?
All three. There's a massive land grab going on as well. So they're buying up a lot of our farmland. They're buying up our industries. And this is going on all over the world.
So they're adopting capitalist principles then?
They're adopting capitalist principles. Yes, and I feel like they're like almost colonizing Africa.
Right. Okay, I think we're done with this session for Mr. Escobar. Thank you very much.
Okay, wonderful. He's a good one to probe. Thank you very much. Again, if you want to understand more about psychic mind probes, you can visit my website, psychiclizcross.com. Sign up for the newsletter. You can contact me there. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to be included onto the Discord, you can interact with Mr. Shakespeare and the other interviewers. They all have their own corners there on the Discord page that they talk to people regularly. You do that by joining Patreon, remote viewing, and beyond. That's how you support this channel. So thank you very much. And Mr. Shakespeare, thank you.
Okay.